the War Cabinet was kept in place until it was over. It met occasionally in London, but policy-making on Ireland, as on everything else, was halted during the Prime Minister's absence. Maurice, as an indicator of Lloyd George's frame of mind, here's a note from Maurice Hankey, the Cabinet Secretary. Just before the Versailles Conference opens, Lloyd George has brought the country through the war, but is in a nervous, irritable and difficult frame of mind. The mistake he's making is to try and absorb too much into his own hands. He seems to have a sort of lust for power, ignores his colleagues or tolerates them in an almost disdainful way, and seems more and more to assume the attitude of a dictator. How do you feel the British government was being run in this period when Lloyd George is about to come to Versailles?
Well, he's trying to run it all himself, and that continues when he gets to Versailles. He delegates domestic affairs to Bonar Law, who's the virtual deputy prime minister. And Bonar Law flies out to Paris occasionally to consult with Lloyd George and then flies back home again, donning a fur-lined flying suit, a bit like Henry Kissinger before his time. And he's meant to deal with all the domestic stuff, the labour unrest, Ireland, and Lloyd George is consumed by reordering the world here in Versailles.
Another matter. Versailles begins with some of the principles of Woodrow Wilson, which indicate sympathy for the aspirations of the nations of Europe. Now, Irish nationalists see an opportunity there, do they not? Do they come knocking at the glass of the Hall of Mirrors?
Very much so. The end of the war has really changed the whole calculus for Irish nationalists. And so the Irish come here hoping to at least certainly interest Woodrow Wilson in pressing their cause. Ho Chi Minh is here to press Vietnam's case, and he meets the Irish delegation, and they're both very much on the margins. They realise that they're not getting anywhere, and Sean T. O'Kelly, who is leader of the Irish delegation here, confides to an American journalist that all the other races are getting a hearing here, the browns, the blacks, the yellows, but not the Irish.
So perhaps then, as Britain goes on to fight not only a war in Ireland, but a propaganda war in Ireland, the background of Versailles, maybe that is part of the embarrassment for the British as they fight the war.
Yes, because Britain fought the First World War for civilization against the barbarism of the Germans. So the whole atmosphere that emanates from this peace conference here in Versailles, the atmosphere which makes imperialism look very much like yesterday's idea, which makes nationhood and nationality now the key driver of what the New World Order should be, what's going on in Ireland looks to be very much at odds with the message that came from here.
So events in Ireland prove a poor reflection for the British.
Perfect.